In the heart of dusty Oklahoma, where the wind whispers secrets through fields of gold, lived a girl named Lily. She was a whisper herself, barely audible, always hiding behind her older brother, Ben. Lily wasn't just quiet. She was shy, a little shadow in a world that seemed too loud. Her home was a small, worn-down house, bursting with the laughter and chaos of 6 siblings. Clothes were patched, and toys were shared until they fell apart. Lily didn't mind. She loved her brothers and sisters, even when they teased her for being so timid. Lily's parents worked hard, but jobs were scarce. Sometimes Mama had to travel far to pick cotton, and Papa would take on odd jobs miles away. It meant leaving the children in charge of each other, with Ben, the oldest, trying his best to be the grown-up. Little did they know, a day was coming that would change Lily's life forever. A day when her shyness would be tested, and a kind stranger would offer her a second chance. That life-changing event stemmed from the simple fact that providing for so many mouths was incredibly difficult. Mama and Papa tried their best, but the work was never steady. Some weeks they'd have enough beans and cornbread for everyone. Other weeks the cupboards were bare. "We'll be all right," Papa would say, his voice rough but kind. "We always are." But Lily saw the worry lines etched on Mama's face, and she felt the pangs of hunger in her own small belly. That's why, when Mama and Papa announced they had a chance to earn good money picking fruit a few towns over, no one complained. Even though it meant being left in Ben's care for nearly 2 weeks, they packed what little food they had and promised to return with supplies. The children waved goodbye, their smiles hiding a sliver of fear. The first few days were okay. Ben made sure everyone ate their share of the dwindling food. They played games outside, pretending they were pioneers exploring new lands. Lily even laughed a little, her shyness momentarily forgotten. But then, the unexpected happened. Mama and Papa had arranged for Mrs. Peterson, their neighbor, to check on the children every day. However, when Mama and Papa left, they mistakenly thought the children were already at Mrs. Peterson's house for the day. Mrs. Peterson, thinking the children were with their parents, didn't check on them at all. The days stretched on and the food ran out. Ben tried to ration what little they had left, but soon even that was gone. They were alone, truly alone, and fear began to creep into their hearts like a cold wind. Lily, especially, felt lost and scared. Days bled into weeks. Ben tried to hunt rabbits with his slingshot, but he wasn't very good at it. The younger children cried from hunger. Lily, too scared to even ask for more, just huddled in a corner, her eyes wide with worry. They drank water from the well, but their stomachs ached with emptiness. The house, once filled with laughter, was now silent, except for the occasional whimper. Ben did his best to keep their spirits up, telling them stories and promising that Mama and Papa would be home soon. But as each day passed without their return, even Ben's hope began to fade. Lily saw him staring out the window, his face etched with worry, and she knew they were in real trouble. She clutched her worn-out teddy bear, wishing she could disappear. The fear was a heavy blanket, suffocating her. But unknown to the children, someone had noticed. About a mile down the road lived Mr. Johnson, a rancher with kind eyes and a gentle smile. He owned a sprawling ranch filled with cows, horses, and chickens. He was a quiet man, content with his simple life, but he always kept an eye on his neighbors. Mr. Johnson had seen Mama and Papa leave weeks ago. He'd also noticed that Mrs. Peterson hadn't been visiting the house as she usually did. He started to get a nagging feeling that something wasn't right. One afternoon, while riding his horse along the fence line, he saw Lily and her siblings huddled together in the yard. They looked thin and tired, their clothes dusty and worn. That's when Mr. Johnson knew he had to do something. He couldn't stand by and watch children suffer. The next morning, Mr. Johnson baked a loaf of bread and filled a bucket with fresh milk from his cows. He saddled his horse and slowly rode towards the children's house. He knew he had to be careful. They were likely scared and wouldn't trust a stranger easily. As he approached, he dismounted and walked the rest of the way, leading his horse. He called out in a gentle voice, "Hello there. My name is Mr. Johnson. I live down the road." The children huddled together, their eyes wide with suspicion. Ben stepped forward protectively. Lily hid behind him, peeking out with her teddy bear clutched tightly in her arms. Mr. Johnson held up the bread and milk. "I brought you something. I thought you might be hungry." He set the food down on the porch and stepped back, giving them space. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." Ben eyed the food cautiously. He knew they were hungry, but he was wary of strangers. After a long moment, he nodded to his younger sister, Sarah, and she cautiously crept forward and grabbed the bread. The smell alone made their mouths water. They devoured the bread in minutes, tearing off chunks and sharing with each other. Lily, still hidden behind Ben, watched Mr. Johnson. He stood patiently, his kind eyes never leaving them. The next day, Mr. Johnson returned with more food and a large jug of water. He also brought a small, wooden toy horse for Lily. He placed it on the porch, and this time, Lily peeked out from behind Ben a little further. She reached out tentatively and touched the horse. A tiny smile flickered across her face. Slowly, very slowly, Mr. Johnson began to earn their trust, especially Lily's. The toy horse was the beginning of a special connection. Mr. Johnson continued to bring food and water every day. He saw how thin the children were and how worried Ben looked. He knew he couldn't just keep feeding them. They needed more than just a meal. They needed their parents. He wrestled with his conscience. He didn't want to scare the children or cause them any more distress, but he also knew that what was happening wasn't right. After several sleepless nights, Mr. Johnson made a difficult decision. He knew he had to contact the authorities. He rode into town and spoke to the sheriff, explaining the situation. The sheriff, a kind man himself, promised to look into it right away. Mr. Johnson felt a pang of guilt, but he knew it was the right thing to do. The children needed help that he couldn't provide alone. Their safety was the most important thing. The sheriff arrived the next day, along with a social worker. They were gentle with the children, asking them questions about their parents and their situation. Ben explained everything as best he could. The children were taken to a temporary shelter, where they were given warm baths, clean clothes, and plenty of food. For the first time in weeks, their bellies were full. The authorities tried to locate Mama and Papa, but it took time. While the children were safe and cared for, their future was uncertain. The shelter was only a temporary solution. The social worker explained that they would try to find relatives who could take them in, but with so many children, it wasn't going to be easy. Lily, still clutching her wooden horse, felt a familiar wave of anxiety wash over her. What would happen to them now? Mr. Johnson didn't forget about the children. Every few days, he would visit them at the shelter, bringing homemade cookies and small toys. He would sit with them, telling them stories about his ranch, about the mischievous goats, the hard-working horses, and the grumpy old rooster. Lily especially loved these visits. She would sit quietly, listening intently, her wooden horse always in her lap. Mr. Johnson noticed how her eyes lit up when he talked about the animals. He started bringing her books about horses, and she would spend hours looking at the pictures, her imagination soaring. He saw that beneath her shyness, Lily was a bright and curious girl. He also saw how much all the children missed their home, even though it was a humble one. He felt a growing desire to help them, to give them a stable and loving environment. He just didn't know how. During one of his visits, Mr. Johnson brought pictures of his ranch. Lily gazed at the photos, her eyes wide with wonder. She pointed to a picture of a horse grazing in a field. "What's his name?" she whispered. "That's Buster," Mr. Johnson said, smiling. "He's a gentle giant." Lily imagined herself riding Buster through the wide-open fields, the wind in her hair. The thought filled her with a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. The shelter felt cramped and noisy, but the ranch, as Mr. Johnson described it, sounded like a place where she could finally breathe. She started asking Mr. Johnson questions about the animals, about the chores, about everything on the ranch. He answered patiently, his voice warm and reassuring. Lily's heart began to long for the quiet comfort of the ranch, a place far away from fear and uncertainty. The animals and open spaces called to her soul. Mr. Johnson tossed and turned in his bed one night, unable to sleep. He kept thinking about Lily, about her shy smile and her love for the horses. He knew he couldn't take all 6 children. His ranch wasn't big enough and he was just one man. But he couldn't shake the feeling that he could help at least one of them. He thought about Lily's gentle nature and how easily she connected with the animals. He knew she needed a safe and loving home, a place where she could blossom and overcome her shyness. That's when he made his decision. The next day, he spoke to the social worker. He told her he wanted to become Lily's foster father. The social worker was surprised but also pleased. She knew Mr. Johnson was a good man, and Lily clearly had a special connection with him. She promised to start the paperwork right away. Mr. Johnson felt a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could give Lily the life she deserved. A few weeks later, Mr. Johnson arrived at the shelter with a big smile on his face. He asked to speak to Lily alone. She followed him to a quiet corner, her heart pounding in her chest. "Lily," he said, kneeling down to her level. "I have some good news. The social worker said that you can come live with me on the ranch." Lily's eyes widened. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Live with you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Mr. Johnson nodded, his smile even wider. "Yes, if you want to. I know you like the animals, and I think you would be very happy there." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes. She threw her arms around Mr. Johnson, burying her face in his shirt. "Yes," she cried, her voice muffled. "Yes, I want to live with you." It was the happiest moment of her young life. The ranch, her dream, was about to become a reality. Life on the ranch was everything Lily had dreamed of and more. She had her own small room, filled with sunlight and a view of the rolling hills. Mr. Johnson taught her how to care for the animals, starting with the chickens. At first, she was nervous, afraid of getting pecked. But Mr. Johnson showed her how to hold the feed and speak to them gently. Soon, the chickens were eating right out of her hand. She learned to milk the cows, collect the eggs, and even help with the horses. Buster, the gentle giant, became her favorite. She would spend hours brushing his coat and talking to him in soft whispers. As she took on more responsibilities and felt Mr. Johnson's unwavering support, Lily's shyness began to fade. She started to laugh more, to speak up, and to share her thoughts and feelings. The ranch was healing her one chore at a time. The first day of school arrived much too quickly for Lily. Even though she was starting to feel more confident, the thought of being in a new school with new children terrified her. She woke up early, her stomach churning with nerves. Mr. Johnson noticed her anxiety. He sat beside her at the breakfast table and took her hand. "You're going to be great, Lily," he said, his voice gentle. "Just be yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it." He drove her to school and walked her right up to the front door. He squeezed her hand one last time. "I'm proud of you," he said. "Now go on and show them how smart and kind you are." Lily took a deep breath and walked inside. The hallway seemed enormous, filled with chattering children. She felt a moment of panic, but then she remembered Mr. Johnson's words. She straightened her shoulders and kept walking, determined to face her fears. To Lily's surprise, the children at school were kind and welcoming. A girl named Emily with bright red hair noticed Lily standing alone and invited her to sit with her at lunch. Emily introduced Lily to her other friends, and soon Lily was part of a group. She also discovered that she loved learning. She excelled in reading and writing, and she even enjoyed math. Her teachers praised her hard work and intelligence. With each passing day, Lily's confidence grew. She started raising her hand in class, participating in group projects, and even volunteering to read aloud. Mr. Johnson was so proud of her. He saw her blossoming into a strong, independent young woman. The shy little girl he had found huddled in a corner was now a confident and capable student. The ranch and the school were giving her the chance to shine. One sunny afternoon, Mr. Johnson took Lily on a special trip into town. He told her he had a surprise for her, but he wouldn't tell her what it was. They went to the courthouse where the social worker was waiting for them. Lily was confused. "What are we doing here, Mr. Johnson?" she asked. He smiled and took her hand. "We're here to make you a Johnson, Lily," he said. "I'm officially adopting you." Lily's eyes filled with tears of joy. She threw her arms around Mr. Johnson, hugging him tightly. "Really?" she whispered. "I'm going to be a Johnson?" He nodded. "Yes, you are. You're going to be my daughter. Forever." The adoption was finalized that day. Lily officially became Lily Johnson, a permanent part of Mr. Johnson's family. It was the best day of her life. She finally had a place to call home, a father who loved her, and a last name that meant belonging. Even though Lily was now a Johnson, she never forgot her brothers and sisters. Mr. Johnson understood how important her family was to her, and he made sure that they visited the ranch often. Ben, Sarah, and the younger children would come to stay for weekends and holidays. They would help Lily with the chores, play games in the fields, and tell stories around the campfire. Lily loved showing them the animals and teaching them how to ride Buster. They would reminisce about their old life, about the funny things that had happened in their small house, about their parents. Even though times had been tough, they had shared a special bond. Lily was grateful that, even with her new life, she could still share those happy memories with her siblings. The ranch became a place where they could all reconnect and feel like a family again. Years passed, and Lily grew into a remarkable young woman. She excelled in school, earning top grades and participating in extracurricular activities. She was kind, compassionate, and always willing to help others. She never forgot the scared little girl she used to be, the one who hid behind her brother and barely spoke a word. She knew that Mr. Johnson had saved her life, giving her a second chance at happiness. She was eternally grateful for his kindness, his patience, and his unwavering love. He had shown her that she was worthy of love and belonging, and he had given her the tools to build a successful and fulfilling life. Lily Johnson was no longer a shy shadow. She was a bright light, shining with confidence and gratitude. She vowed to make Mr. Johnson proud every single day. Lily's love for the ranch never wavered. Even as she excelled in her studies, she always made time for the animals and the chores. She had a natural talent with horses, understanding their moods and needs instinctively. She could calm a skittish colt with a gentle touch and train a stubborn mare with unwavering patience. Mr. Johnson often relied on her expertise, trusting her judgment when it came to the health and well-being of the animals. She helped him with everything from branding cattle to mending fences. She even learned how to drive the tractor and bale hay. Lily found a sense of purpose and fulfillment in working on the ranch. It connected her to the land, to the animals, and to Mr. Johnson. It was a way of giving back for all that he had done for her. The ranch was not just a place to live. It was a part of who she was. One cold winter evening, Mr. Johnson noticed that one of the calves, a small, frail creature named Daisy, was acting strangely. She was shivering and wouldn't eat. He tried to warm her up and coax her to drink, but nothing seemed to work. He was worried sick. He knew that if Daisy didn't get better soon, she wouldn't survive the night. Lily, who had been studying in her room, came to check on them. She examined Daisy carefully, her brow furrowed with concern. "I think she has pneumonia, Mr. Johnson," Lily said. "We need to give her some medicine right away." Mr. Johnson didn't have the proper medicine on hand. Lily remembered reading about a home remedy in one of her animal care books. She quickly gathered the ingredients and prepared a special tonic. They managed to get Daisy to swallow it. Throughout the night, Lily stayed by Daisy's side, monitoring her breathing and keeping her warm. By morning, Daisy's fever had broken, and she was finally starting to eat. Lily's quick thinking saved Daisy's life. The next morning, as Lily and Mr. Johnson were watching Daisy graze peacefully in the field, Mr. Johnson turned to Lily, his eyes filled with emotion. "Lily," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I don't know what I would have done without you last night. You saved Daisy's life." He paused, taking a deep breath. "But it's not just about Daisy. You've brought so much joy and purpose to my life. Before you came along, this ranch felt empty, even lonely. You filled it with laughter and love. You've made me a better man, Lily. I'm so incredibly proud of you." Lily blushed, her heart swelling with affection. "I love you, Mr. Johnson," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I'm so lucky to have you in my life." He smiled, pulling her into a hug. "No, Lily," he said softly. "I'm the lucky one." Despite her newfound confidence and the comfortable life she now enjoyed, Lily never forgot where she came from. She remembered the hunger, the fear, and the feeling of being alone. She remembered her siblings and the bond they shared. She made sure to stay connected with them, visiting them whenever she could and helping them in any way possible. She encouraged them to pursue their dreams and offered them support and guidance. She also never forgot the small, dusty town where she had grown up. She knew that many families there were still struggling with poverty and hardship. She felt a deep responsibility to give back to her community and to help those who were less fortunate. Even though she had a new last name and a new life, she never forgot her roots. They shaped her into the compassionate and caring person she had become. Inspired by her own experiences, Lily became a passionate advocate for children in need. She volunteered at a local after-school program, tutoring children who were struggling with their studies. She organized food drives and clothing collections for families who couldn't afford basic necessities. She also became a mentor to young girls who were facing similar challenges to those she had overcome. She shared her story with them, showing them that anything was possible with hard work, determination, and the support of caring adults. Lily wanted to be a source of hope for these children, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always light to be found. She knew firsthand the power of kindness and the importance of second chances. She dedicated her life to paying it forward, one child at a time. She wanted them to know they weren't alone. Lily felt a special calling to return to her old town and offer support to the families still struggling there. She started volunteering at the local community center, which served as a charity for those in need. She helped organize food boxes, distribute clothes, and tutor children. More importantly, she offered a listening ear and a message of hope. She shared her own story, letting them know that even in the face of hardship, it was possible to overcome adversity and create a better life. She encouraged parents to never give up on their dreams and to support their children's education. She reminded them that they were not alone and that there were people who cared about them and wanted to help. Lily's presence in her old town brought a renewed sense of hope and community. She was a living testament to the power of resilience and the importance of giving back. One day, while volunteering at the community center, Lily received an unexpected visit. Her parents walked through the door, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and apprehension. They had heard about her work in the town and wanted to see her. They had been working hard to rebuild their lives, finding steady jobs and saving money. They were deeply ashamed of what had happened and wanted to make amends for leaving their children. Lily rushed to embrace them, tears streaming down her face. She had forgiven them long ago. She understood the desperation that had driven them to make such a difficult decision. They talked for hours, sharing their stories and catching up on lost time. Lily was proud of her parents for their resilience and determination. They were finally on the right track, and she was happy to be a part of their lives again. It was a heartwarming reunion filled with forgiveness, love, and hope for the future. Later that day, Lily's parents asked if they could meet Mr. Johnson. Lily, of course, arranged it. They drove out to the ranch, their hearts filled with a mixture of gratitude and nervousness. They knew they owed him an enormous debt. When they arrived, Mr. Johnson greeted them with a warm smile and a firm handshake. He invited them into the house, and they sat down in the living room. Lily's mother spoke first, her voice trembling with emotion. "Mr. Johnson," she said, "we don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for Lily. You gave her a better life than we ever could have. We're so grateful for your kindness and your love." Lily's father nodded in agreement. "You're a good man, Mr. Johnson," he said. "You saved our daughter, and we'll never forget that." Mr. Johnson simply smiled. "Lily is a special girl," he said. "She deserved a chance, and I'm just glad I could give it to her." Lily continued to live on the ranch with Mr. Johnson, surrounded by love and happiness. The ranch became a haven, a place where she felt safe, secure, and cherished. She thrived in the peaceful environment, surrounded by the animals she adored and the wide open spaces that allowed her spirit to soar. She and Mr. Johnson developed an unbreakable bond, built on mutual respect, admiration, and unconditional love. They were a family in every sense of the word, bound together by the extraordinary circumstances that had brought them together. Lily knew that she would always be grateful for the second chance she had been given. She was determined to make the most of it, to live a life filled with purpose, compassion, and kindness. She wanted to honor Mr. Johnson's legacy by making the world a better place, one small act of kindness at a time. The ranch was her home, and Mr. Johnson was her heart. The bond between Lily and Mr. Johnson was something truly special. It was more than just a father-daughter relationship. It was a deep connection of souls. They understood each other without needing words. They shared a love for the land, for the animals, and for the simple life they had created together. Mr. Johnson admired Lily's strength, her compassion, and her unwavering spirit. He saw her as his greatest accomplishment, a testament to the power of kindness and the transformative effect of love. Lily respected Mr. Johnson's wisdom, his gentle nature, and his unwavering support. She saw him as her hero, the man who had saved her from a life of hardship and given her the chance to blossom. Their love for each other was evident in everything they did, in the way they looked at each other, in the way they worked together, and in the way they supported each other's dreams. They were each other's rock, each other's confidant, and each other's best friend. Lily's story became well known throughout the community and beyond. People were inspired by her resilience, her compassion, and her unwavering determination to make a difference. Her story demonstrated the power of kindness, showing how a single act of generosity can transform a life. It showed how second chances can lead to extraordinary outcomes, and how even the shyest of individuals can find their voice and make a meaningful impact on the world. Lily's journey was a testament to the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, hope can prevail. It encouraged others to open their hearts, to reach out to those in need, and to believe in the power of transformation. Her life was a living example of how love and compassion can conquer all. She proved that even a shy girl, once left behind, could rise above her circumstances and become an inspiration to many. And so, Lily Johnson's story continues to inspire. Her new last name, Johnson, represented far more than just a new family. It symbolized a new beginning, a new identity, and a new life filled with hope and opportunity. It was a testament to the transformative power of love and the enduring strength of the human spirit. It all started with the kindness of a rancher, a man who saw a scared little girl in need and opened his heart and home to her. Mr. Johnson gave Lily more than just a last name. He gave her a future. He gave her a chance to blossom, to find her voice, and to make a difference in the world. And that, in the end, is the most beautiful legacy of all. Lily's story reminds us that even the smallest act of kindness can create ripples of hope that extend far beyond what we can imagine, shaping lives and transforming communities for generations to come.